are trying to overcome. And what we get is we get this kind of tick list, this bullet list of all the kind of vital processes. It must do service portfolio, release management, request fulfillment, et cetera, et cetera. And really at this point in time, most of the tools actually do all of this. So it's very, very difficult for a vendor to deliver a solution that overcomes your challenges if all you're asking for is ITIL compatibility, because we don't know if that's going to be right for you. Of course, then when we implement, after saying we need 15, 16 processes or whatever the case may be, when we implement, we find things are different. So in 2010, Hornbill did a survey, about 900 different organizations across the globe, about 50% UK, 40% US, 10% rest of the world. And what we asked people was, look, what have you implemented? And I think actually if we reran the survey now, it wouldn't be that different. So what we get is we get this trend. So the items in dark blue that's what we've implemented. The items in light blue that's what we're planning to implement. So what we see here, the trend is incident management top, then change, then problem management, and then we start to drop below 50% for service level management and tail off with some of the other processes, right down to the more strategic processes on the right-hand side, service portfolio, demand management, financial management. The key thing there is that these are the processes that actually take you to alignment and to value. And that's the issue for many. They don't really get beyond the more operational processes, perhaps a bit of service transition. So that's what we find anyway. So maturity is talked about a lot. And actually, I think there's a fundamental flaw. Maturity is great in terms of giving you a gauge of where you are and where you need to get to. But if you look at most maturity models, and I've just borrowed this one, you can look at CMMI, you can look at Gartner, you can look at any of the various different models. Well, they start off with chaotic and they build right through the value. I've seen some different representations of how many organizations globally are at what level. Typically, it says at about 3% around chaotic level 0 and less than 5% up at value. So the majority, somewhere around 10 to 12% at service, and the majority there between the reactive and proactive, representing almost 80% of the world's global IT organizations. Those are just some rough guides and some figures. And my issue with that is that it takes a lot of effort. If you've been doing IT service management, if you've been adopting somebody ITIL or COBIT or whatever framework like you handle, you really have to implement more processes, employ more people, produce more documentation, reinvest in tools, et cetera, and that's a long, hard climb up to value. If I'm a business owner, which actually I am, an executive, and my IT function is saying, actually, we'll be